Waza! Welcome to the Odyssey. So sorry for the late upload today, guys. I got a little bit preoccupied with finding out what I was going to do with my Citadel playthrough for Mass Effect 3. I was going to do a full playthrough of that originally, but I decided to actually just do a kind of a, what's it called? I'm trying to think of the name. Just a bunch of video clips from the original playthrough because it got a little bit low, so I'm kind of bummed about that, the game volume. So I'm going to do that and then fix it for the next session and just have certain parts of it as a full video and do it that way instead. So I just wanted to give you guys that update real quick. And I'm actually gearing up for my first Inktober this year. I bought some Indian ink from Walmart and I'm super excited, but I'll save that information for the Inktober video coming up in a few days here. So as discussed before, I wanted to do 2 more pieces to this little fan art series. I started off here doing a bunch of mainly the inking and really feeling out the details of it before I decided to go about painting it. So the next will include Gerard the Completionist and MatPat from Game Theory running into FNAF as well. Then the final piece will be including them all and Mark as well in a bigger piece than the other 2. I'm very excited to do this because all the videos that they were all in, from Mark to MatPat and Gerard, they were all very entertaining and really definitely brought a more fun environment to the FNAF community, I feel, and honestly the only ones I follow as far as the community goes. I mean, there have been a few other people, but out of them all, they've been the most interesting, I feel. And I wanted to talk real quick about the hate that Game Theory kind of got for posting, just about 15 videos on Five Nights at Freddy's. They've all been very unique, I feel, and just different, and they've all tackled very interesting subjects that have really expanded the games more so than what a lot of people would really see just from looking at it raw. And compared to all the other things he's done, I mean, there's way more Mario fan theories out there, but no one's really complained about that or any other ones that he's done in general. Like, he started off doing mainly Nintendo videos at first, and he expanded into more stuff. It's just kind of funny that people think that he was jumping on a bandwagon, when in reality, FNAF, like many other games out there, just have a lot of questions that the game itself won't answer, so why not tackle them yourself? And I commend him for that. It's been very interesting since day one, and honestly, every time I see a new video, including FNAF, as far as the theories go, I get really excited. And seeing Gerard play them as well, getting just super excited about them, but at the same time getting freaked out and having to quote-unquote talk to his therapist about it. It was just talking about how, from a completionist perspective, it's really interesting, seeing him do all that and being able to, from the first game, being just really intense, because that one was sheer. I don't know if you can hear someone constructing out there, some kind of saw blade, but yeah, sorry if you can hear that. Going from something really random like that to games in the FNAF series were a bit more not so much up to chance, fortunately. And with Markiplier, he did the same thing. He made sure to do much of the game as well, because these guys, they knew that the game actually was fun and it does have its own stuff to it that make it interesting, and they're not just jumping on it because of the popularity. They're jumping on it because it really is an interesting game series. But that's my thoughts about it too. I think it is good, and I think they get too much hate for doing those games sometimes. But I mean, no matter what you do, there's always going to be someone hating on it or having their own negative opinion. So, but this is where I started to dive into the Sharpie aspect of it. I've actually gotten really accustomed to using Sharpies a lot with these pieces, but I know in the coming months I definitely have to think into more so what I'm going to do to practice my watercolors and my coloring in general and my acrylic painting, and see what I can do. as far as increasing that effort, and also my shading and my inking in general too, because all the stuff I do, there is room for improvement. And I mean, in general, there always is room for improvement as an artist. And I feel that as long as I continue to have the passion for it, have the interest to keep going and make it interesting in my work as well, doing pieces like this will continually challenge me and also keep me interested in it at the same time. Because I've often had a difficulty with finishing pictures because I lose interest fast with a lot of things, with my art I should say. So with this, the fact that I'm posting it on YouTube for others to see and that others actually do appreciate seeing it, it makes it all the more fun to make this stuff. And regardless, I'm always going to have my passion behind it too, but it just makes it more fun. And having that time lapse playing in the background of what I'm doing and showing everything, the raw drawing of it, so to speak, and then having the slamming soundtrack behind it too, perfect. And I get to shout out the artists who I featured in this video. The links to their music is always in the description below that you can check out, at least recently within the last couple of videos, because before I kind of lost track of who all I featured in the videos. And it's also just fun trying to find ones that actually match the video, because in the first one I had Markiplier's intro for his horror games, and I love that. That is a staple for me, and it's just really cool to do it that way. And so going back to Inktober, just a little bit here, I'm really interested, I should say, into trying the Indian ink, because I know I didn't know it was so easy to get a hold of, like at Walmart, for instance. I got, what size is this? I'm about to look into it real quick. I have 1 ounce. I have 1 ounce of liquid, and what I was tempted to do was actually get I just smelled it. I don't know why, but I just smelled it, and it smells just really strong. But I'm looking on the back, and it shows me all the types of ways you can use it, from air spray and whatnot. And I actually tried to look into how it's going to affect my brushes. Like, is it going to stain it to where I can't clean it or what? I have no idea, but we'll see. Here I wanted to give it a nice outline, a nice thick black outline for it to really emphasize the characters in each of their respective poses, before I decided to put in the white pastel, which I love. That's the best thing about the tone papers, is adding that nice white emphasis on it, because when you're drawing on a white paper, everything's white originally, so it's really hard to emphasize it precisely the way you want to, at least from my point of view. And this picture originally I wasn't really gonna paint. I was actually gonna get some color pencils and just do outlines like I wanted to do before with the SpongeBob anime one. But I kind of bit the bullet and was like, you know what, I'm just gonna do acrylic again, give it another shot, because I need to practice with it anyway. So I did that, and by the end of it, I felt I was more successful with it this time than my anime one, the SpongeBob anime one. But at the end of the day, with artists, that's one of our gifts and curse. We, love what we do, but there's going to be plenty of pieces that we look at and we're like, I could have did that better, I could have did this better, that looks horrible. But then you share with others and they love it. I mean, there's this new app I actually discovered the other day, and I'm trying to look up what it's called. It's called Art Amino or something like that. I'm trying to look it up and get the actual name for you guys, because if you're an artist or just love looking at art in general, this is definitely a website to check out. I can't remember who I saw gave this app a shout out, but I'm gonna try to look it up real quick. It's a really cool thing. If you're familiar with DeviantArt, it's similar to that, but it's different. It's hard to describe how different it is, but it's just really cool. I mean, I just joined yesterday and I already have like 13 followers. I just posted like this picture, the finalized version of this picture I'm drawing now, and also the one I'm gonna show you guys in my next drawing video. I'm not gonna say what it is just yet. It's gonna be a little surprise. If you are a Jim Varney fan, the guy who played Ernest in those Ernest movies, you know, Ernest Goes to Camp, Ernest Goes to Jail, Ernest Scare Stupid, you know, that guy. If you're a fan of that guy, I think you're gonna really enjoy it if you haven't seen it already. But it's definitely a cool, definitely a good app. I would definitely suggest getting it. It's called, if you just type in Art Amino, you know, or just type in Amino, Aminos, it should come up. And it's basically just an app you have on your phone or just device in general, and it's really fun. I found a lot of great artists on here, and you can talk to them. There's chats available. You know, you can collaborate. There's a feed. There's the chat rooms and just wikis. There's art tutorials, I should say. And this isn't sponsored. I'm not really on the level to get sponsorship just yet. But, you know, there's art discussions, there's contests, commissions, and trades that can be on this website, and it's a free website. You can download it right now. It's available both on Android and iPhone, on Apple, I should say. There's all types of things. You know, once you upload something, you can choose the different categories, and that alone gives people the chance to follow you. You don't really have to tag it as much. At least I don't think you have to. At least I don't think you can add tags. So I could be wrong, but I mean, I got found without using tags so far, so that's definitely a good sign. But as I got to this point, I kind of was thinking, man, I really wish I made a copy of this version. I did take a picture of it, but I really wish I had an actual physical copy of the colored and the uncolored. And honestly, that's what I'm going to start doing in the future. I don't know why I didn't think about this before, you know, like at least scan it so then I can maybe at least print out a copy of it later on. But this is the finished piece once it's all fully inked and has the white backdrop to it. And I honestly admit I do like this version better than the finalized piece, but either way, I still enjoy both, and that's the important thing. It's a journey, and that's what I strive to do, to figure out what I like most, what I don't like, and just improve on everything. Just be well-rounded in general. So, and going back to the piece here, it's gonna go back in a moment here. There we go. So this is when I decided to start painting, and I thought about that outline when I started painting Golden Freddy here. And I was so happy I was actually able to include Golden Freddy, because this part, what I was thinking of when I drew Golden Freddy in that pose, I remember the first time I saw Golden Freddy, and that was when Markiplier was like, yo, what is that? Like, he was looking at his cameras, going through the facility, just seeing all the cameras through the facility, and he just sees this decrepit golden bears looking at him. Then his face basically jumps at the screen, and he's like, yo, what was that? At that point, I'm thinking, oh man. That point, I was thinking, this Golden Freddy, whatever he is, he just looks amazing. I just love it. I think Golden Freddy and Foxy are my favorite characters, to be honest. And at this point, I was painting him, and I was starting to get a feel of where I wanted him to be painted. I was still trying to do the outline at this point, and I think by the time I got to the painting, that's when I realized, shoot, I forgot to add the wolf stash and the crown. But like I said, I'm glad it worked out that way, because now this is the first introduction. This is this is Mark. This is Mark when he first runs into FNAF, before he finally came to the thought that, I'm the king of Five Nights at Freddy's. I beat it to completion. That was before he did this. This was, night 1 and night 2 when he was, the first video. So that's what it's supposed to be. The first impressions, and then by the third piece, they're like, "Come at me, bro." And I'm using a colored pencil here because I couldn't, for some reason, I don't have red paint, or at least the shade of red that I wanted to use for Foxy. So I decided just to go with color pencil and figured I'd still be able to have him look cool with the red outline regardless. And I think next to the black and the red, it really outlined him even more so. I feel I should have done a bit more with Freddy and, well, actually both Freddys. I almost said with Freddy and Freddy, but I feel like I should have did that more with them because of they had the different kind of warmth with the colors, the different visualization that brought to you by the painted journal. I feel like I should have added more of that white emphasis in it, but that was something that I can try for another time as I go through the other pieces here. And with Mark, I do realize that he didn't have hair colored at that point when he did FNAF, at least FNAF 1. He just had the natural black hair, but I actually got requested to do the pink haired Mark at first, and I thought I could, but then I forgot and decided, I was gonna do red color. Because I remember the first time he dyed his hair, it was pink, then he went to blue, then he went to red, and I think red was the last one he did, but I don't know. I just decided to just do red. And at this point, I was kind of freaking out. I was thinking I want to color the background. I definitely need to do like a black drop. But then I thought, this is going to be tricky because I know I have a lot of brushes now, but at the end of the day, they're still brushes, and it's still going to be tricky to get that precision I want, especially being so new to painting. But fortunately, I was able to nab it pretty well once I gave myself that white outline to give myself a little bit more ease with not messing up the lines and the detail that takes away from the shapes of the characters. So fortunately, I was really glad I did that ahead of time, even though, what was the other thing I was about to say with that? Even though, I don't know, but whatever. So with this part too, I was trying to add more shade to Freddy because that's why I left part of the coloring out, but at the same time, I feel I should have maybe added a bit more shading to it. But I was still happy with the overall thing to it. I think I should have did more to his bottom jaw because in the picture I used as reference, a lot more of him is shaded in. But it's whatever at this point. This is another thing I really want to work on too in the future, is working on how to blend certain colors together. Like, I know in general with many things, there isn't just one shade of color. Like with our skin in general, for instance, you see many artists when they color skin tones and just other things in general, when you want to get the shading correctly mixed in with the lighting in general and capturing all these different shades in one picture, especially when it comes to a person's face, you have all these different colors mixed together. But anyway, this is the final product. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. And looking at it like this, I'm glad I did this, and thank you so much, Markiplier, for being such an inspiration. And I dedicate this picture to you. You are a inspiration to many, and thank you for all the things you do. I really hope you see this video someday, and I'm looking heavily forward to doing the other pictures, to have the other people, a couple more of the many who've inspired me over the years. So until the wind hits our sails yet again, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and let me know if there's anything else you want to see from me in the future. Until the wind hits our sails yet again. Later days.